Hey there, this is Peyton here, and on this video, I want to talk to you about page design with Elementor, and specifically, we want to talk about sections, columns, and elements. So I want to explain a little bit how that works. In a previous video, I taught you how I learned Elementor, or how I got a little acquainted or felt comfortable using Elementor. But I wanted to go in a little deeper on this video about how sections work, how columns work, and how you can add elements to those sections and or columns. So let's go over to Elementor and let's start. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new post, and I'm going to edit it with Elementor. So once I'm inside Elementor, I will see that it has on the left pane, I can just drag elements and add it to the page builder. But before going into that, we want to see how a page is built. So we want to go over to a website called Envato Elements. And from here, we can see that we have a header, we have text, we have images, and so on. For example, in the header section, we have a logo. So we have menus, and we have drop downs for each of the menus, or for some of those menus. We also have a search box and so on. Then we have in the other section of the site, we have a header, we have another smaller header, and we have image boxes with little descriptions on the bottom. If we scroll down, we have a button here. Oh, we do have a button here in the header as well, where it says get unlimited downloads. If we keep scrolling down, we have another section. Here is a different color. We have a different section, and it has, again, a header, and it also has, let's say, different columns. It has 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. Each column has an image, and underneath the image there is a header and a text. And if I keep scrolling down, I have another section where I have again a header, I have other boxes, and so on. So basically, a website is made by elements, by just adding elements, either one beside the other one or one above the other one. In this case here, these boxes have different things inside. Let's say the themes box, I have a header, I have a text, I have another header, I have an image, and behind the image I have some sort of design. So all of those are little components. Like scrolling down a little more, there are testimonial, there's a testimonial section. And this testimonial could be made with a carousel. You have elements that are carousels inside Elementor, and so on, so on. So with that in mind, yeah, I can keep scrolling down more and more, and it just changes or presents several options here in this website. And this is only one website. There are tons of websites that we could have gone to. If I come down to the footer, I have links inside the footer, clickable links. I have clickable links inside the footer. I have social buttons here, and so on. So coming back to the main part of Elementor, where I'm building the site, or where I'm going to talk about the sections and the columns. On the left side, I can either drag any of these elements into the empty part here, and it will automatically create a section. So that's the first thing you want to talk about, a section, how to create a section, because each element needs to be inside a section. Right now, there is no section created. There is no section. You can create a section by touching this plus sign, and it will ask you how you want to create that section. So you can either create one, a single column. You can create 2 column, 3 column, and so on. That is the first way to create a section. So I'm just going to select this for 1 column, and it created a section for me. I'm going to delete it here so you can see it. This is not a section. This is just like the default header that I have, since I don't have a title on my document or on my post yet. I'm not going to go into that right now, but I don't have any section here. The way to create this section is to hit the plus sign here, select your structure. So I'm going to select a structure of 1 column, and it created this. If I touch this here, it says edit section, or if I hover over it, it says edit section. Okay, I can right click, got it. Thank you very much. So by clicking on this top part above, I now have my section. Inside that section, I can then add elements. Now, if I click on this plus sign, it's going to bring me over to the left, where I can either insert the name of an element. Let's say I want a heading. Okay, so I can literally write heading, and it brings me the elements that are related to heading, which I can then drag to the right. Let's not do that, because I can easily just click on the heading and drag it inside this section. Let me undo it. I'm going to come down here where it says history. I'm going to click that. It says heading added, and it has a plus, but I am going to go back to the time I did not have the plus. I'm just going to select to revert to this other when I added this section here. So again, I'm coming back to the page builder, and the way to add elements inside this new section is by either hitting the plus sign, or just simply coming up here where I have this this little icon, and I can drag elements inside my section. So that is one of the ways to create a section. Now, there is another way to create a section. And the other way to create a section is just simply dragging and dropping the elements. I don't have to necessarily come to the plus sign and touch it and hit or select a structure. I could have done that, and we will do it eventually, but that's the other way to create a section. Automatically, I'm going to delete this. Automatically, when I drag any of the elements from the left side into the page builder, it creates a section. So that covers the part of sections. Now, well, it partially covers the part of sections, because we're going to talk about it. We're going to continue talking about the sections. So let's go back to any one of the ways to create a section. I'm just going to drag this heading here, and I now have a section. I'm going to drag another element below this heading, but before, let me just type something here. How to create a section. That's going to be my header. Now, if I want to add, let's say, some text below that, I will just come over to the section where I have the elements and drag the text editor until I see that light blue line, and I will just drop it right there. And it inserts a text editor where I can now either double click here, or I can come over to the left side and delete what it says there and type whatever I want. in order to create a section, just drag one of the elements from the left side, blah, blah, blah. Okay, now I want to add an image. Let's say I have an illustration, I want to add an image. So I'm coming back here on the top, and I'm just going to look for an image element, and I'm going to drag it inside here. And I can then, I now have the image. So we have now 3 elements inside a section. This is my main section. When I touch the different elements, I will see what it's all about here. For example, right now I'm only on the image. So it says edit image. If I click here, it's going to say edit image. If I click here where I have the text part and I touch right here, it's going to change up here. Let's see. I touch here and now it says edit text editor. And the same thing will happen with my header. I'm going to touch this little pencil that says edit heading, and this is going to change to something else. It's going to say edit heading. That means that on the left side, I have the properties for each of the elements that I am adding. For example, right now the header is selected. I have properties for that header which are under these 3 tabs: under content, under style, and under advanced. The same thing works with the text editor. If I touch the text editor, I also have the properties for that text editor element. I have content, I have style, and I have advanced. The same thing works for the image. If I touch the image, I have content, style, and advanced. So those are the properties for each of the elements. Each element has content. You can edit things in the content section, or in the style section, or in the advanced section. So for example, I'm coming back over to the heading. I'm going to touch heading, and I am going to change. I'm just going to add in Elementor. So I have added something to my header. I can also go to the style column, and I have other properties for that element. For example, text color. If I select this here, it doesn't have any color, but by selecting it, I can just change the color very easily. So let's just put blue. And if I go down to typography, I have other properties. For example, I have the ability to change the type of font. Let me just put a goofy one there. So how to create a section. I can change that to another type of font here. Let me just select this one. So it all depends exactly what you want. And I have also other properties for that element. The same thing works for the text. If I select text, I have properties for that text in under content, style, and advanced. So now let's just go ahead and add an image, because I did not add an image, or I did not do anything when I added the image element. So I select the image element, and it prompts me to choose an image, which I had not chosen yet. So I select choose an image. It's going to take me to my gallery, and let's just put this image here, insert. This probably doesn't have anything to do with how to create a section, but is an image I had there, and that will show me, that will bring up the image that I entered, and I also have different properties for that image. I can work with the width and all of those things. We're not going to go in that on this video right now. It's just to show you how sections and columns work. Now, last thing I'm going to do right now is to edit the entire section. So to edit the entire section, I come up here and just touch the top of the section. Let's say I wanted to have a different color or maybe a border. Let's just do the simple one, which is a background color. So I will come here to this little brush and color, and let's see how black works. Doesn't look too good for me. Well, it all depends. Let's see how green works, or maybe purple or something like that. So you already get the idea. You can edit the entire segment by doing so. Now let's just delete this and let's talk about adding different columns. So in order to add a column, or to add, because when we went over to Envato, for example, we was able to see that there is a section that has a header and it has 4 boxes here, or 4 images here, or even here. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4 different elements, one beside the other. And so it is here. So how can we accomplish something similar? Well, we can do it in 2 ways. We can actually select this plus sign and we can choose the amount of columns that we want. In this case, I'm going to choose 3 columns. And now I can add, let's say I want 3 videos. So I'm going to insert a video, and I'm going to insert another video, and I can come back here and insert another video, or a way to do it is just to right click the element and just select duplicate. If I right click and duplicate, it creates another video or another element, which I can easily select and drag up here. All right. So that is another way that I can work. I can right click and duplicate an image or an element. So I will have to go over to YouTube. Let me just go over to YouTube. Let's say, okay, let's just,
Pagos móviles de St. George's Bank.
all right, let me just type some news here. Just want to select one of the, some videos here. Okay, so this is a video, which I'm just going to come here and select share, copy, and I'm going to come back to Elementor. And when I come back to Elementor, I just come over the first element, the video element I added, and I will change the URL or the link for that, for the default video. And it's going to import the one that I had here. So now let's type something about Animal Planet or something like that. So Animal Planet, let's just select anyone here. copy it and I come back here to Elementor and I touch this second element and I just change the URL. Now it has the video that I imported. And let's say I want to just eliminate this third one. So I'm just going to right click on this third element. I'm going to right click on it because I want to eliminate it. And I come to delete. So by deleting, it's just going to give me a section with 2 videos. All right. So that is one of the ways that I can add, let's say that I can add columns, but there is another way. I can do something else. For example, I can actually, let's duplicate this again. Oh, let's just do it. Let's just do it over here. I'm going to add a text here. I'm just going to drag a text here. So it's a new element. This is there's a new section. This is a section and this is a new section here. So this new section has a header and now I'm going to add a text right underneath the header. And what I want is to have an image right beside. So what I'm going to do is right click on the header on the section itself. I'm going to right click and just duplicate it. And it's going to create the same exact thing that I had inside that section. So it creates now a different column. But that was another way, that's another way to create a column. As you can see, I can come here and just add the amount of elements that I want. Let's say I want all these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 elements, columns, or I can just go duplicating by right clicking and right clicking on the section or on the intersection. And I can then create different columns. So let me just go ahead and do that again. I'm right clicking on the intersection and I'm going to select duplicate. So now I have 3 equal columns with information. I'm going to come over to the third one and I'm just going to delete that first element, which is the header. I'm going to delete. I'm not deleting the column, I'm just deleting the information inside or the elements inside of the column. So I'm right clicking on the text editor and I'm going to delete that. I'm not deleting the column, I'm only deleting the element inside a column. So I still have an empty column now. If I want to have a different or a float column, I just right click on the column itself and duplicate it. Well, that did not do it. Let me just come back here and okay, maybe I have to add an element inside of this column so that it will then duplicate and add a different column. So here I can just type whatever. Let me just type letters. That will be my title. And this one here, I'm just going to type another header and so on. Now for this third column, what I'm going to do, I am going to add an inner section. So that is a section inside of a column. So by adding this inner section here inside this third column, I now have the ability to have other smaller columns inside of that column. And now what I'm going to do, I am going to add a video to that first column inside the column. And on that video, I'm going to duplicate this one I have here. I'm just going to, I want to repeat the same video here. I know it looks maybe a little bit complicated, but I touch the video element and I'm just going to change the URL. Let me eliminate the second column so that you can appreciate it a little more. I have eliminated the second column here. And let me just type something that makes sense here. Okay, I can definitely I can definitely you know, just change the size of this. I come over to style. Oh, I'm sorry, I stay under styles, under typography, I can change the size right here. Or I can just touch the arrow, the down arrow, the top arrow, just to change the size to make it fit inside the box here. And then I can just type something else here. Here is the easiest way, blah, 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 blah. And I can also edit that. For example, I can just come and double click it here and come over to the styling, go to typography, and I can come down here to transform, for example, and I can put lowercase. It's going to change it from all capital letters to lowercase. So let's just see that a little later. I'm just telling you different ways that you can work on inside Elementor with columns and sections. Now here, what I did, I added a section inside a section. I added an intersection inside a column, I'm sorry. So now let me just go ahead and put some text here on the right, which will explain this video. And I'm going to type this video is about, and you can add what the video is about. And it doesn't have a header, so let me just add a header right above these two elements. So with this exercise, you can add multiple elements inside sections and columns. I'm just going to drag the element of a header right inside, not inside the section here. I can actually add it inside a section. I could have dropped it right above the, the video, but I don't want to do that. So I'm going to drag it out and I'm going to put it on the top. I'm dragging it right now. Sometimes it gives a little problem, but I'm just dragging it on the top here. And now that's going to be the title or the header for this section. And let's put wild animals. So you can just play around with the different options you have. What I wanted to do on this video is just show you how you can add sections and elements. So just a quick recap. Let me just eliminate everything here. Just a quick recap. When you start to build the, when you go to the page builder, you have no elements. You have no sections. You can add any element into a section by just dragging and dropping, or you can actually create the segment by touching here and adding the amount of columns you want inside of that segment. you can also, it's not going to let me duplicate anything because it doesn't have any elements. So I'll have to actually add an element here to then be able to duplicate that. Now I can duplicate it. I don't want to go through the explanations again. You can watch the video, but basically the video was made to explain how elements and sections and columns work inside of Elementor. I hope this video has been informative for you. I appreciate your time. You can watch the rest of the videos I have on this playlist about Elementor, and we will eventually start building more and more complex things with Elementor. I want to appreciate you for your time. If you appreciate my content, just subscribe to this channel or give me a like. It will definitely help this channel to grow a lot. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful day.